West. Monica McNutt, you like SGA to make 2 or more three-pointers. Let's talk about that.
I think so, Greeny. We heard earlier about the presence of Victor Wembanyama being able to guard both the rim and the mid-range. I think threes are going to have to be a thing in this one. So, yeah, that's where I'm going.
Vince Goodwill, you like Wembanyama to go over 25 points tonight. Tell me why.
To Wendy's point, he hates Chet, and he wants his trophy. So, yeah, I think it's going to keep it simple. He's going to do damage.
We're going to let Wendy make that point again in just a moment for those who are just joining us. But it is a fascinating dynamic within this game. Monica, how about Chet to go over 9 rebounds?
So, of my options on Chet, this was my favorite. He had 10 in the last matchup versus OKC during the regular season. He had 9, 9, 12, 12 over the course of that Lakers series. I think he's in a good rhythm on rebounding. And he, too, doesn't like Victor Wembanyama. I think this is an area he'll impact the game.
So we're going overs. SGA on threes, Wembanyama on points, Holmgren on rebounds. If you like those picks, they're a parlay at DraftKings Sportsbook with the odds of plus 600. And let's let Wendy make that point that he was making earlier this morning. For those of you just joining us here in our second hour, Wendy, with SGA being announced as the MVP yesterday, and they will hand him the trophy on the court in front of everyone, including Victor Wembanyama, before Game 1 tips off tonight. What did that make you think about?
As soon as I saw this scenario play out, I was transported back to being 17 years old when I saw David Robinson get the MVP trophy right ahead of a 1995 series against Hakeem Olajuwon, who didn't like it. Olajuwon very famously went for 41 that night, dominated that series. Huge moment in Rockets history for sure. And look, Victor Wembanyama, he's a guy who can get petty and can get a little bit mildly arrogant, and I would expect him to feel a certain way in his first ever Western Conference Finals game tonight.
And can you also remind everyone, because there's nothing that I enjoy more than healthy dislike. That's what I'm going to call it. In sports, we have healthy dislike. And there's not enough of that in sports these days. And there was a million reasons for that, because players change teams all the time and whatnot. I grew up in an era where there was healthy dislike. I don't want anyone to hurt each other, but I want guys to genuinely want to win and rub it in the other guy's face. There is some of that healthy dislike between Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren, too.
I'm going to take you back to the Under-19 World Cup in Eastern Europe before they even got to the NBA 5 years ago, when Chet Holmgren was the MVP of the World Cup and Victor Wembanyama fouled out of the gold medal game. I promise you, he has not gotten over that. And I also expect them to be going head-to-head in the Olympics in LA coming up. So this goes back to before they were in the NBA, because Chet Holmgren missed his whole rookie season. They were rookies at the same time, competing for Rookie of the Year. This definitely, they're in the same division. They're going to be fighting, for years into the future. The Holmgren-Wembanyama matchup goes much deeper than the surface.
I love it. I love the Frenchman sitting there. I hate that guy. And SGA just got the MVP, so now he's on my list. I love this idea of Wembanyama going out there with all of this to prove, and all of it. That's what sports is meant to be as we head into Game 1 tonight in OKC.
Get your popcorn, Greeny. I think that's what I wrote in my notes last night, because this is going to be fascinating. Yes, obviously this rivalry, if you will, or presentation storyline is one that is the centerpiece, but you've got great storylines all around in this series. I mean, you look at the way the guards have been playing for this Spurs squad. You look at the depth that this Thunder team has and their ability to put pressure on even the best offenses. Like, I think this is going to be fantastic.
And you made the point, I think it was you, Vinny, who made it in our meeting this morning. This could be a rivalry that sort of defines the NBA for the foreseeable future. These teams are really good, and they're really young.
Well, in Adam Silver's NBA, we're not supposed to see this much continuity from franchise to franchise, year to year, because of the aprons. But they are set up so well. And Victor hates Chet's guts. There can only be one dude on skinny corner. Apparently, there's a lot of space there, but there's only one spot for skinny dudes, and Victor wants it to be himself. I think these two teams are set up not just with the big men, but with the guards, Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Ron Harper's kid. Like, there's a lot of versatility in guards there. This is San Antonio's first run in the playoffs, y'all. They're going to be here, and they're only going to get better.
Are they too? I mean, my dear friend Jalen Rose once on Mike and Mike, I mentioned that a team was so young, and he sang the song, "They may be young, but they're ready."
We can't say that anymore.
No, okay, well, we can't. Well,
no, we can't.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Okay, so maybe there's.
Are they ready to do damage, Greeny? Yes. And I have been one that has said, I'm concerned about the experience so far, and we said this. If you are ever going to have a formula that would put experience out of the conversation, it is to have Victor Wembanyama, and he has performed so far.
You have that feeling when you're the only person in the room that doesn't know what just happened? That's a terrible feeling to have. So, Wendy, I'll come
I don't
to
know either, Greeny, don't
Okay,
worry.
perfect. So you and I will just have a conversation. Do you think that the youth and inexperience, I mean, we've been waiting all year long to have this conversation, right? Is San Antonio ready? Have they not had the heartbreak? They're at least a year ahead of time. OKC is the defending champs. They had the heartbreaks leading up to it. They went 7 games in the finals last year, for crying out loud. So now, once and for all, we will get the answer to the question. Is San Antonio ahead of schedule, or do you think they're ready for this?
I think they might be ready because I thought the same thing. And throughout the postseason, I have watched them face a little bit of adversity and always show poise and always answer. They had Wembanyama get the concussion in the first series, got ejected in the second series. They've had tough road games that they've risen up from behind and won. This really, to me, is a referendum on whether or not it's Victor Wembanyama's league. I believe it will be a league that he owns at some point. Maybe that some point is now. And this is a great opportunity to series your fate. By the way, the injury report is clean. We're going to have everybody in this series, including Jalen Williams, coming back from the hamstring injury. This is exactly what you want. They're both reasonably rested. There is no reason that this shouldn't be as high-level basketball as we've seen.
If you're the Thunder, and I'm not going to over-dramatize this, but San Antonio is only going to get better from this point. You have to win this series. They're as ripe as they're going to be, and the Thunder are on a mission to repeat. We have not seen a repeat champion since the Golden State Warriors of Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant, and even they were tested in year 2 of that run. So I think the Thunder have desperation on their side. They have to win this series, and they have to get back to the finals.
It was in this round they were tested. Houston had them dead to rights, and then they had tonight. What are the right things to say about them after that Game 7 performance?
Look, Donovan Mitchell was on the line here. He had never made it to the conference finals. He had not played great for much of this series. They needed him to deliver in a Game 7 or he was going to hear about it all summer, and he did. There were 2 key game plan things that the Cavs did with Donovan Mitchell. Number 1, they did everything in their power to get Ausar Thompson off of him. It was a great compliment to the Pistons, but also showed where their vulnerabilities are. And they wanted to play through their big men. Donovan Mitchell averaged over 6 assists a game in the regular season. He was averaging less than 3 in the playoffs. He had 3 assists in the first 4 possessions for the Cavs. He was a playmaker. He was a scorer. He played with urgency. Donovan Mitchell was a verified superstar in a road Game 7, and now for the first time, he's in the conference finals.
He is indeed. And then on the other side, there's Cade Cunningham. There will be no Cade Cunningham slander allowed in my presence anywhere. I think that kid is tremendous. I think he is and is going to be a great player. But as I watch them, and I'm curious your perspective, I don't think they have the second best player on a title contending team. And that's not an easy thing to find. I think he's the right piece. I think they need one more. You tell me what we should be thinking about them as they go into their offseason.
Well, you look at the way that they played in the playoffs. When you go down 3-1 in the first round, you are fighting from underwater from that point on. So, yeah, you saw a tired team last night, but you also saw a team whose flaws were laid bare. Jalen Duren, can he be the second best player on the team with Cade Cunningham? I think we saw the answer to that. Duncan Robinson, Tobias Harris, those were not players who you were going to be asking to make NBA Finals runs. The Pistons didn't make any significant trade deadline moves to signify, hey, we're going for it right now. So this is still a young team that 2 years ago won 14 games, and they have made market leaps in the past couple of years, but there's a lot of questions, and you got to find that second guy.
I think as it relates to Detroit, they're on the right trajectory. I mean, as you just said before, right? 2 years ago, how many games did they win?
14.
14. So obviously there's room for growth. Tobias Harris, when they were winning, was scoring 20 plus per night. Right, so finding that consistency. Jalen Duren, what is 22 years old?
Yeah.
You're still watching him take his licks as well. And you're right. I think there is an additional piece, but this team is still going to be knocking on the door in the Eastern Conference.
This is Michael Wilbon's playoff pain. Like last year against the Knicks, that was his experience. Yeah. This is real life expectation, disappointment at the crib, and decisive. Yeah. You cannot fool yourself going into the offseason thinking that you're close.
Here's my thing though. Like there is no like. I don't know, insert buy shop for a two-way guy that defends and is going to fit perfectly. Like, they're going to have to get creative as they go looking for that second star. And what are you willing to give? You're going to have more firepower. Most likely your defense is going to take a hit. But how important is the chemistry that they have developed as they have come back from seasons where they run less than 15 games?
So we get Cleveland and the Knicks. We get San Antonio and OKC. The conference finals start tonight with the West. Our series is the East. And as you can see, the Knicks are actually by a slim margin, but still, at DraftKings Sportsbook, the Knicks are a heavier favorite to win their series with Cleveland than OKC is to win their series